Hey everyone, this is a HappyAnimaidCafeManager here with another walkthrough episode for the game Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Anyway, this is the last day of my investigation, or so I believe. It is still my first time coming this far. And I'm surprised at myself. This time I didn't need to look up on the internet for ways to get through, but so it's all on me. Even though I did before I started this project, I did mess up a lot in the day one trial. I mean, in the day two first trial for this case. Ugh. Anyway, the Dark investigation. 2 years ago, I was the second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command. That means the chief detective was no doubt Damon Gant. Yes, Detective Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigation. Damon had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when the last murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, when the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. First one at the scene. Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw the bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall, the victim Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall took a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma and carried her out of the room and just held her. Can't blame her. After all, her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's quite right. A coincidence, I don't buy it. Well, what are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end up with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memory. That case just might be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. the chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, besides the final SL9 murder. February 24th, Police Department Criminal Affairs. I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kind of quiet around here today. You're right. The head of the department seems the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right. We can come back here later. February 24th, Police Department entrance. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. Hey, Sarah. You never know where life will lead you. Hey, Bambina. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy. Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a volunteer appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. The dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Joe Dark's alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there was a good chance that knife was not the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that was SL9 incident left behind. SL9 incident left behind. Prosecutor Marshall. I got the looks, but he got the brain. He was one of the best prosecutors around. That just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he? Your brother. He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You don't mean King of Prosecutors. Not that again. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. The day of the SL9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the same day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was a thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered and the evidence locker was empty. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starfire was fired and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Ganson's son. Chief Detective Damon Ganson is second-in-command Lana's side. There was a person on the force who had heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everybody who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Sky was totally different when she was a detective. Now that you mentioned it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. I never found out. Well, Lana's secret? It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Back at the Criminal Affairs Department. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crime. Oh, if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying what she did in the decision about what to do about Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention her statement to the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall to the other building and take the elevator up to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets this unique charm. Well, where are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Chief's office. I never expected the office to look like this, to have an organ piano. Anyway, I'm at the chief's office. Whoa! Where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bosch. I thought I was a genius until they... I never could remember where C was. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper here. He was reading it in his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full, too, with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Marshall's Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I I can't seem to quite put my finger on it though. Can't seem picture. Anyway, I like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh! But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate anymore. All the same, we still all like to have a look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet, after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we could get inside the chief's office. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe! Were you in a meeting? I was, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From staying so long in the meeting? Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Edgeworth's priceless. But why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lawrence Skyway is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of him. Amazing talent as a prosecutor, but now with this, there are really so many people who hate him. In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime. Okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problem with enemies. Well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all of this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier. While the coffee was brewing, he seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall, who was trying to protect some girl? Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might be a jog his memory. Dark crime. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. with his car? So, it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident. Then he killed a lady a kid walked by then, so he killed him too. Then he was burned. A jogger came by the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. See, he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, by the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but fortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. The last witness. He must meet Emma. Investigation Task Force. Let me share a little advice with you as a detective. If you don't have a clue, keep your trap shut. Keep that in mind. Sheesh. I've been studying up on those files. There's nothing wrong with Mr. Edgeworth's presentation. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. But Loniska was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dark guilty. Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors award that Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, pal. I got an award for diligence myself. Congratulations. I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken? Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later. Apparently he's forgotten. Hey, check it out. There's a metal plate here. It looks like the names of all the previous recipients engraved on it. Wow, one guy's listed a bunch of times. Von Karma. I guess he must be a foreigner. Yeah, that's probably it. Well, wherever he's from, he must be an amazing prosecutor. I like to meet this Mr. Von Karma sometimes. When she says it, his name does have kind of a ring to it. About this. Hey, don't tell me that! It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, the knife's been locked away in the locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, he suddenly disappeared from his locker. Disappeared from the locker and was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. The murder weapon. This knife. It was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he brought it at, and it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off the tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it. Inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match the Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Neil's autopsy report. Type reports received from Detective Gumshoe. Switchblade, not a knife. Anyway, this thing's been updated. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? Well, if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with a breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh, sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this card? It was Detective Goodman. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that could make him change his mind. Stabbed in the back, died from punctured heart and lungs. A knife tip was in the wound. About that jar. I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Or maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the Chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? This ID card belongs to the victim, Detective Bruce Goodman. You could do just about anything these days with a card and the secret number. Scary. It's only scary because you keep dropping your card, Detective Gumshoe. I forget my secret number a lot too. I'm scared of myself. But I'm me. After all, and what could be wrong with that? I think I'll stay out of this conversation. Well, thanks for watching. Until next time, to be continued, baby.